The conditions that precipitated World War I and II are beginning to show their ugly heads again. A trade war between the United States and China is beginning to build. The need for resources, for profitable trade, is driving both sides into a struggle that may cause another world war. Currently, the US is trying to accuse China of being a currency manipulator. This way, they can have a justification for levying penalties. Economist Fred Bergstein at a House Ways and Means Committee hearing last week claimed China was undervaluing its yuan by 40% against the US dollar. He claimed this causes large job losses and is causing rapidly increasing trade deficit. He ordered the government to label China a currency manipulator. In doing so, they could order the International Monetary Fund and the World Trade Organization into forcing China to revalue its currency. Bergstein also appealed to Europe for support in intimidating China. However, Europe has its own problems to deal with and will probably not support the US aggression on China. The current EU conflict on how best to deal with the enormous Greek debt has placed the future of the euro in question. The fall of the euro has also been a boon to exporters in Europe, which is profitable to them to the lower-end countries of the EU like Bulgaria. Such a US rallying call against China is likely to fall on deaf ears in the Asia-Pacific region, like Japan, where many countries greatly depend on exports to China just to keep their economies going. If these countries were to join the US aggression against China, they would no doubt suffer economic retaliation by Beijing. China will not bow to US pressures. A revaluation of the yuan would cause all kinds of negative impacts on the Chinese. There would be a sharp increase of bankruptcies and job losses. Increasing the value of the yuan would not create jobs in America. It would simply transfer jobs to cheaper labor markets like India and Vietnam. All this is a part of more aggressive US stance against China. This currency manipulation claim comes on the heels of large sum sales of weapons to Taiwan and Obama's staged meeting with the Dalai Lama. The US has also placed new tariffs on Chinese tires and steel pipes. Washington is also pushing for China to support new trade sanctions against Iran, which is not going to happen because it's a major energy exporter to China. Not to mention the US-backed Google attacks on the Chinese government as well. However, China has never been one to back down from foreign pressure. With its new rise in power over the last 15 years, it too is seeking a status in global politics and power. Ian Bremmer of the Financial Times wrote that China has ambitions to extend its influence in Asia, and its plan to do business in far-flung places have given new momentum to its military plans. A broader shift in the balance of power is also likely to empower Chinese hawks to call for greater resistance to US pressure in places such as North Korea, Burma, and Sudan. Stephen Roach, Morgan Stanley's Asia director, warned Washington's scapegoating of China could take the world to the very brink of a very slippery slope. It would not be the first time the political denial was premised on bad economics. But the consequences of such a blunder trade fictions and protectionism would make the crisis of 2008 and 2009 look like child's play. The global economic crisis has been laid bare the true intentions of the world capitalist system, a system of competition between groups of wealthy elite, not nations. This system of greed has dragged us into 2 world wars already. The American elite's drive for access to resources competing with China's drive for resources will only encourage more war. This race towards neo-colonial war is nothing more than a byproduct of international competition. The only way to end this drive to World War III is the reorganization of society under socialism, where resources can be properly shared and distributed toward human need, not human greed and personal profit.